Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Gabriel Knight, the 20th Anniversary Edition. Well, last time you'll remember we encountered Crash and got a sketch of his tattoo. And a tracing of a snake tattoo from Crash's chest. We now have a crocodile mask, a snake bracelet, and a couple of little odds and ends right here. But, yeah, I believe we are now ready to end day 4, as soon as we head back to the map. It's getting late. Gabriel decides to go home for the day.
Hello?
It's me. I can't sleep.
Oh, me neither.
Can I...
Yes. Come.
Oh, I will. And again, Gabriel has a night with no nightmares because he probably was not sleeping that much. So here we are, day 5. The road was blocked, the truth was shunned, the white flag had been waved. Reversal cost me all I'd had and everything I'd braved. And something about the poems I just noticed is that the Day 4 poem mentioned the crosses and the meaning of them, but we still don't have that because, thanks to them shifting things around to make sure we had more content on certain days, we don't get to that part until today. And, yeah, Gabriel just now getting home. But that creepy guy is back in the doorway, even though we didn't see him earlier.
Sure. Great. Why?
I'm worried about you.
If I were any better, Grace, I'd be dead. Now what's up?
You got another package this morning. Overnight from Germany.
I was expecting that. Where is it?
Well, it kind of came open, but I salvaged the contents. There was a letter from your great-uncle Wolfgang and a journal.
The package just came open, huh? How'd you like the journal?
Someone has to look after you. You're in trouble, in case you didn't know it.
Yeah, you've been reading my horoscope again, haven't you, Grace?
Just read the journal carefully, Gabriel. Please.
I got it. St. George's books. Oh, Professor Hartridge. I'm glad you called. Did you? Oh, you did. You did. Oh, wait. Slow down. They agree. Really? You think that's them? Well, you're within a wheel. Ogun Bad agree, huh? Well, that does sound like it. Dambala, the snake. That's the wavy pattern at the bottom. Okay. The 1791 slave revolt in Santo Domingo? Well, why would the Veve show up there? Uh-huh. Okay. Look, I'll come over as soon as I can, okay? Relax, Professor. I'm excited too, but you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Okay, thanks. See ya.
I wish you'd tell me what's going on. I swear you're gonna step into a hole you may never get out of.
Don't look so worried. No one knows what I'm doing. I'm perfectly safe, and I'm getting some great stuff for the book. Besides, there's something about all this. My dreams.
What about your dreams?
Oh, nothing. I'll be careful. I promise.
Alright, well, first things first, let's...
This guy's really starting to bug me.
No kidding. I have a feeling if he can see us, they can see us.
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond. Okay, well, let's check the newspaper. Dixieland Deuce Dance Festival. Shouldn't there be a fest in there? Anyway, discuss the state of the voodoo murders case. Gabriel turns right to his horoscope. The shadow upon you is no longer reversible.
Wonderful.
Gotta wonder how many other Aquariuses there are out there who are reading this and wondering what the hell is going on. Anyway, as long as we're here.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
Investigate Rada drums.
Could you research Rada drums for me?
Rada drums? Sure. I don't think we have any books on that topic in the shop, but I'll contact our suppliers. Assuming any of them will extend you any credit.
Tell them it's an emergency.
Uh-huh. I can see where a Rada drum book would be incredibly urgent. Anything else?
I can't think of anything. Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
No. Is that a voodoo word?
I don't think so. It's German.
No, sorry. I don't speak German.
Do you have messages for me?
I've given everything to you.
And what the heck?
How do you feel about Nolans these days?
I'd rather be anywhere else in the world right now.
Alright, well let's go ahead and check out our new items. We've got Wolfgang's letter. Wolfgang's letter says,
Dear Gabriel, please read the enclosed journal carefully. It might help you understand your family's special obligations and our current predicament. God be with you. Uncle Wolfgang.
okay. Gabriel reads through the pages Wolfgang marked. He reads of Gunter Richter's journey to Charleston as a witch hunter, hired by the townsmen to solve a series of ritualistic murders. He reads about Gunter's meeting with a beautiful slave woman, Tedelo, and of Gunter's tormenting urges for her.
Paul bastard.
He reads of their physical union and passion, and of Gunter's investigation into the murders. The victims were all crew members on a certain slaving expedition to Africa, it seems. The second to last entry described Gunter's plan to set a trap for the Coven committing the murders. He'd found the name of one of the surviving members of the crew, a man now living in the West Indies. Gunter has spread a false rumor that the man is returning to Charleston. He himself will impersonate the sailor and allow himself to fall into the hands of the Coven. Naturally, Gunter has arranged for able-bodied assistants to follow and attack the Coven before they can do him harm.
Ballsy son of a bitch, wasn't he?
Gabriel turns to the final entry of the journal. Dear Father, I offer these final words as apology for the harm done to our sacred office. The woman I wrote of, Tedelo, was the witch I sought. I have committed terrible crimes. I love this witch and then used our sacred family power to free her and aid her in destroying this colony. The talisman is gone. Tedelo took it. I can but pray for the swift recovery of the talisman, and that my punishment in hell will be long and bitter. Thy undeserving son, Gunter. And yes, the exact details of this story, in case it isn't obvious, are what we have been seeing played out in Gabriel's nightmares. And we also get to see the story played out in a graphic novel that came with the original game, and which is also accessible from the menu for the 20th Anniversary Edition. And I think we actually can go here without saving the game. Yeah, here it is. Scans, suggested for mature audiences. Original illustrations, written by Jane Jensen. And what the heck, I might as well take a quick moment to read this. The village elders gather at the site of a brutal, ritualistic murder. What sayest thou, Mayor Cromwell? Not again. This is the 6th. I say now, the devils from hell are among us. There's a little bit of narration. All eyes turn to a short, square man. The grim vigil is broken by the sound of a horseman's galloping approach. An oddly dressed stranger dismounts. Thou art the witch hunter? Ya, Herr Ritter, as thou requested, and paid well for. I am Mayor Crodwell, and these good brothers are from the Charleston Council. I trust thy journey over the seas was uneventful? The witch hunter rejects further formalities, turning instead to the gory scene spread out before him. 'Tis the work of witches, if not the devil himself. I must make that determination, Herr Cromwell. Well, when the witch hunter finally answers, his voice is grim. Ja, it is witchcraft. There can be no doubt. The witch hunter will find the guilty one. The sound of a delicate footfall quiets the angry men. Into their midst comes one whose shines like copper in the bright moonlight. Eliza, why art thou here? A letter for the witch hunter, master. Give it to me, child. As her eyes meet, something passes between the witch hunter and the slave. Something like, Dear father, I received thy missive. I now thou art angry, but my journey here was not in vain. The colonists have stumbled upon a true evil, magic dark and old. It is unlike anything I have seen in the continents. Please write me more about thy work in Saint Domingue. Bodies that recall stories of thy killings. I shall begin to question local slaves. Do not fear, the talisman will protect me. I only do my best to fill thy shoes a shot in the anchor, beloved father. As thou hast oft told me, we must be prepared to sacrifice all. Your son, Gunter. And yeah, there's a little bit more. There's a pattern around the... Yeah, recognition. Okay, so this does scroll down a bit. But it doesn't look like I missed too much in the earlier pages. Yeah, it's well protected. This is worse than the trouble they had up north. Anyway, it's a good little graphic novel. But the short version is that, as it is summed up in the brief summary we got reading this, Gunter fell in love with this woman, even though there were some, major taboos about, well, that weren't in Germany at the time. And, yeah, it turned out that the leader of the coven was the woman he loved. They managed to capture them, but he wound up using his power to try and save her, and, well, she did not take his rejecting her and betraying her all that well, as you can imagine. Anyway. So yeah, we cannot combine the magnifying glass to get a closer look at it, but we've got everything we need from there. So, our next little mission.
I'll be back later.
Have fun.
Alright, so first things first, we're going to go and see Professor Hartridge.
Hey, Hartridge, what's the good word? Hartridge? Ah! Oh, God, not again.
Okay, well, let's take a look at him.
He's looked better.
Whatever Hartridge may have learned, he can't share it with Gabriel now. At least not vocally. That would be up to the coroner.
I'm not touching that bot.
Something about Hartridge's death mask reminds Gabriel of the way that Crash checked out. Not a pretty ending.
He's looked better. I'm not touching...
Okay, I don't think we can get a close-up of him to get a better idea of his
There
condition.
must be something here about what Hartridge found out about that Veve.
And yeah, here's another difference from the original game. Because originally, you could just look at the desk and Gabriel would find Hartridge's notes. Well, apparently over the last 20 years somebody said, well, wait, if they killed Hartridge, wouldn't whoever was doing this in the voodoo cult be smart enough to cover their tracks? Well, this time they were. This is a crime scene. Gabriel wants to disturb it as little as possible. Well,
there must be something here about what Hartridge found. There must be something here.
Well,
damn, this is his notepad, but the top sheet's been taken. There must be something here.
Well, we now have the pencil, and we're going to use the oldest detective trick in the book. And the fact that you can't just take the pencil in the inventory is meant to be the hint here. But you take a pencil and you rub it across a top sheet that somebody had embedded on heavily.
Partridge's notes. This must be about the Veve.
So we now have some kind of clue. So go ahead and look at Partridge's notes.
Thank God Partridge was a doodler.
And we can't make out a lot on here, apart from a quick sketch of things, mention of the country of Benin, and the note that this is authentic. Which doesn't look all that convincing to me, but... And I thought there was a way we could get a close-up look at his body to confirm that, yes, he did in fact die a bit more horrifically than you'd expect, but that may have just been in the original game. Anyway. Before leaving the university, Gabriel notifies campus security about Partridge's body. Alright, well, got a few more places we can check out today, but I think next one we will go and visit will be the Voodoo Museum. Got a few more things I'd like to ask Dr. John about. And it is not clicking properly. Okay, there we go.
Why is it so dark in here? Dr. John? Hello? Uh-oh.
And yeah, this is in fact the first place in the game where you can die unless you are very clever and remember what happens with the air conditioner and the fact that constrictor snakes hunt by motion.
Good day, Mr. Knight.
That thing just tried to kill me.
He did. I am sorry. The museum is closed today, you see. We were not expecting visitors. But if you will excuse me, Mr. Knight, I must go look for him. He is incredibly valuable.
You don't need to ask twice. I'm out of here. By the way, you might want to lock your door the next time you're closed.
Not a bad idea. Goodbye, Mr. Knight.
Yeah, nobody's buying any of this, are they? Alright, well, with that done, we do have one other bit of urgent business. It is now the 22nd, which means that Madame Moonbeam should be in residence.
Welcome, Seeker. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait! Gabriel Knight.
You're too quick for me.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
Well, let us start running through inventory, or questions. Magentia Moonbeam is wrapped in gauze and silks. She looks vaguely mysterious and mysteriously vague. And yeah, if we look around the shop, it's a large cluster of quartz crystals, snake cage, a large snuggish shake rests on the floor of the fancy bird cage. Apparently Magentia is not a fastidious housekeeper. A shed skin shares the cage with the original owner. And there's surprisingly little we can click on here. The mask is made of carved wood and looks African. Alright, let's talk to her.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Of course, Seeker.
Now really, there's only some things we have to ask, but let's go ahead and start at the top.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit. But my spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
So, as you may have guessed from the decor and her manner of dress, we have been sent to the voodoo equivalent of the New Age shop over by the college campus that also doubles as a head shop.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Much of a voodooienne's work is protecting her clients from the spells of others. I make special protective gree-gree to be worn in secret. They keep evil spells from working against my clients.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
The recipes for voodoo charms have been handed down from master to apprentice for centuries.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I have told you all it is proper for you to know, Mr. Knight.
What can you tell me about deja vu?
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible.
Yeah.
There is badness there. Very bad.
Yeah, any idiot knows that, but Gabriel is not just any idiot.
So you don't think the voodoo aspects of the case are fake?
Fake? Let me tell you about fake. If I get information through the grapevine and make use of it, is that fake? No. That is part of a voodooienne's power. If people don't believe, there's not much I can do. But if they do believe, that is a part of my power too. But there are things, monsieur. Things not even a little bit fake, I can tell you. Believe it or not, but stay away from it.
So, you're a bullshit artist.
What do you mean? Do you know something about the case?
I work hard on fine-tuning my spiritual antennae, Monsieur Knight. And I get a clear signal from that direction. Beware.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is the center of voodoo practice in the United States.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
It is a fascinating city with many dark secrets.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
It is my favorite place in the world.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald? She's a python, you know. Quite deadly in the wrong hands.
Yeah, I
was
know.
trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
His name was Sammy.
Tell me more about snakes.
Oh, I wouldn't want to give away my trade secrets.
Do you have any idea what Cabrice and Call means?
No, I don't.
Do you know anything about Veves?
I don't know anything about that.
Some expert, right?
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndful?
There are many voodoo churches in New Orleans, no?
No?
Yes, but have you heard of a secret voodoo houndful?
Wherever did you hear such a ridiculous story? There is no such thing.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
It is the oldest, darkest heart of voodoo.
Hence the term black voodoo.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
There are some things it's better not to know about, Monsieur Knight.
Like what really goes into hot dogs.
Does Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard the word Schattenjäger?
I don't know anything about that.
You know anything about deja vu?
Give me an example of Gris-Gris.
All right, here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match. A spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
Here's an old hoodoo, Dr. Gree-Gree. Place a dime under your client's tongue. If the client is under a spell of any kind, the dime will turn black.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
To send someone away, take a rotten egg and write that person's name on it 9 times. You can also write on it where you want to send that person to. Take it and throw it against his door at midnight.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
Here's a nasty one. To kill someone, get a sock or shoe that belongs to that person. Put graveyard dirt in it and bury it under their front steps.
Does that work?
I don't know. I never tried it.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
To ensure the safety of your child, cut a lock of its hair while it is still a baby and keep it with you. The child must have all its hair before it can die.
Yeah.
These are interesting.
They're very old. The Gree-Gree that I prepare is much more powerful, I can assure you. But I don't give out those secrets.
Yeah, I'm going to call BS on that last one, because logically, if that one worked, then every bald man on the planet would be immortal.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
How did you get into this business?
I trained in the voodoo arts for many years with the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Who's she?
You have never heard of her? For shame. I can see you know little of the world of magic.
I'm beginning to get that impression, yes.
Wasn't Tabitha the name of the daughter on Bewitched?
What kind of people come to see you?
Seekers after the truth, such as yourself.
Do you do anything else?
I'm a voodooian. That is plenty. It takes much spiritual effort.
How many voodooians are there?
No one knows exactly. Many practice in secret. There are probably hundreds. But of course, the level and the power of the voodooians differ greatly, depending on their training and natural gifts.
Tell me anything at all.
I haven't always lived in Nolans. I came here from Kansas as a young woman.
Tell me anything at all.
I began studying voodoo more than 20 years ago. I'm well versed in the magical arts.
That's mentioned pretty well preserved.
Tell me anything at all.
Many non-believers come to me. They are usually believers when they leave.
Tell me anything at all.
Dr. John sends me many seekers, such as yourself.
Tell me anything at all.
I am happy here with my clientele and my snake.
I'm happy with my snakes too.
I can't think of anything.
Very well.
Tell me about the animal masks.
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but you don't see them much anymore. They're too close.
Too close to what?
Just bad karma.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh yes, she was the first of the great voodoo queens.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve. It is the greatest night of the voodoo year. There is always a traditional conclave on St. John's Eve. Most of our voodoo churches these days hold functions in the church hall. But in the old days, they had ceremonies out in the wild. They wore animal masks and had a huge bonfire and dancing.
Naked
I
dancing?
used to go when I was an apprentice. Sometimes in the swamp, you know, Bayou St. John. Sometimes at the lake, Lake Pontchartrain.
Yes, but was this naked dancing is a question that I was most interested in.
Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo practitioner of some kind.
He did no such thing.
Yes, I'm a voodooian, a voodoo priestess.
Nice place you've got here.
Thank you. For me, it's a sort of temple.
I can see that. Do you get many people in here on an average day?
Some days, the need for my power is greater than others. But I have many regular clients who would be lost without my vision, Mr. Knight.
I can imagine. That's a great-looking mask on the wall.
It's from Africa. A gift to me from Queen Tabitha.
Do you know Dr. John well?
Oh, yes. We are old friends. Those with gifts are often drawn together.
So let's say I came to you wanting to attract a woman. What would you advise?
I wouldn't think you have any trouble attracting women, Mr. Knight.
No, I guess I don't.
Unfortunately, well, at least my perspective, you do not get a chance to try and work your charm upon her. It sure make the game a lot more interesting.
So what advice do you give your clients?
I tell them to follow the light, be aware of the darkness, and always get expert spiritual advice from someone with the sight.
That almost rhymes.
That's what I thought you'd say.
Well, we got one more option.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Where did you get Grimwald?
She belonged to a traveling reptile show. She was being terribly mistreated, so I offered to buy her. She's named after a spirit guide I had once. The spirit Grimwald was a very powerful female snake priestess in Egyptian times.
Uh-huh.
Grimwald doesn't sound Egyptian.
I only know what the spirits tell me, monsieur. I am sure they know better than we.
Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scales.
Can you show me where it says that in the book?
Are you sure you wouldn't consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
I told you, I couldn't do that.
How did you learn how to handle Grimwald?
I told you, a great voodoo queen taught me. She learned from Marie Laveau herself.
Uh-huh. Fascinating. How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
Yes, oh God, yes, please!
That would be swell.
I mean, yes, that'd be
No matter
swell.
what you see, do not be frightened.
I'll give it my best shot.
Now, we can enjoy this show a fair bit, but there is actually a purpose to us doing this, apart from indulging some very weird fetishes. Because while she's entranced, we are somehow able to stand up, move across the room, and grab the shed snakeskin while she is occupied. I should have saved a couple of those dollars from when I bought the crocodile mask.
There. Truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it.
Well, we got that shed snakeskin, but that is not all we need from Madame Magenta. But you'll note from our point total, we're a little over halfway through the game at this point. But we will continue on with getting what we need from Magentia next time. We'll see you then.